I don't know what you guys think about Hitler, but personally, I think Hitler is no bueno. Now, Sneako has a different opinion. You know, he doesn't think Hitler's, you know, great exactly, but he also doesn't think Hitler's evil exactly. Not even a big on the no bueno. And so he was having an interaction with Aiden Ross and another streamer who I don't know, for the life of me, I have no clue who the other person is. And Aiden Ross, who is Jewish, wants to get Sneako, who is a brainlet, to just agree that Hitler is evil. And Sneako refuses to, out of what seemingly just contrarianism.
Reality ain't black and white, my nigga. Nothing is black and white. And if you say it is, you're delusional. I'm just sorry to say.
I didn't say, you just made up a whole argument that I didn't even make.
But do you hear what I was trying to say?
You consider it, like, just be more empathetic? Is that it? Is that the point?
He's basically saying understand perspective. Like,
that's exactly what you guys aren't doing. That's exactly what both of you didn't do this whole argument, is understand. The thing that triggered you was understand.
I don't care about Hitler's perspective. So
it's either understand perspective or don't. Because Hitler was...
There's no justifying a guy who killed 6 million people.
So it's understand perspective or not. Because Hitler, whether or not I understand why you think he's evil, I don't think he was a good person as well. But to not understand him, he's also a human. So you also need to understand that perspective if you're going to use that as an argument. You can't just shut him out and say, nope, understand everyone's perspective but this one guy.
I understand Hitler has a perspective, but I don't agree or even want to even. Why would you? I mean, yeah, like, of course, everyone's probably wondering, why did you do it? Of course, like, everyone's like, what was your perspective on doing that? But it's like, and I get what you're saying with that, but it's like, why does it matter what Hitler's perspective is? He's a sick man. You even admitted he's a piece of shit, Sneako, right? He's evil, right?
I think he was a bad.
Dude, you could feel a pin drop in that silence. You could hear a pin drop. You could, you could hear somebody talking from a mile away, man. Oh my gosh, that silence. Nothing hit harder than that silence.
Piece of shit, Sneako, right? He's evil, right?
I think he was a bad person. I don't know if he was evil.
Yeah, I don't know if he was evil.
I haven't met the guy. I think he was a bad person.
I haven't met the guy. Oh my gosh. Like, I wake up, I open my morning newspaper, you know, I like wipe the sleepies out of my face, you know, get the crust out of my eyes. I'm grabbing my cup of joe, I'm taking a sip, I'm in my morning robe, says, you know, it says arms dealer 24/7 on the back of it. My kitty cat gets on my lap. I open up the paper and the headline is mass serial rapist arrested, raped 37, killed 22, 7 minors. And I'm like, wow, oh my gosh, that's very bad. Never met the guy though. Don't want to jump to judgment. Flips page. Like, I mean, come on. The idea that you have to meet them to just know that they're evil is ridiculous. You can have a moral compass where you have enough information to garner out of somebody, and then you can make the determination that this person's evil, right? Like, all the facts that I just said about what somebody did, you could garner all that information to say that person's evil. You can look at all the things that Hitler did in his career, and you could garner the information from that he was evil. You do not need to meet him in person. You do not need to meet Hitler in person to know that he was evil. If I asked Sneako if Jeffrey Epstein was evil, I have a weird feeling he would say, of course he's evil. If I asked Hillary Clinton was evil, I would say, of course they're evil. But now that we're on to Hitler, right? And he needs to be a contrarian. He has to be a contrarian to some degree in order to find a reason to drag viewership in, because he's not a particularly intelligent person. He doesn't add a lot to the conversation, no matter the topic, especially if it's a political conversation. So he needs to add something, and that one thing he can add is conflict. And so he's the contrarian, and he has to be a contrarian on this, no matter how obvious the answer is to anybody else.
Yes.
Hold on.
I think he was a bad person.
Sneako.
But you see what you guys are doing? You want me?
Yeah, somebody just said it. Matrix said Hitler is bad, so I don't know. That's basically it, yeah.
Sneako.
Whether or not he was evil, you want me to agree?
Was Hitler evil?
Do you see what you're doing? You want me to agree with the specific narrative so bad.
Dude, I've always hated how the big Hitler's evil narrative, how dominant it is, and it's so controlling, man. You can't like walk down the street without having the message Hitler is evil thrown in your face. I was turning from channel, it's like, oh, documentary on the Holocaust. Next channel, oh, Schindler's List. Oh, next channel, oh, epic rap battles of history. Hitler's getting cut in half by Darth Vader. No matter where you go, man, it's the Hitler is evil narrative just everywhere. Ugh, where's the positive representations of Hitler? Where's the spring times for Hitler in Germany? Come on, man. Where is it?
I see what you're saying. You're just doing this to do it. It was Hitler evil.
Was Thomas Jefferson evil?
Sneako, was Hitler evil?
What are your criteria? What's your criteria of evil? Murder?
Look up the definition of evil.
I'm asking you. You want?
It's so simple. You have a moral compass, just like everybody has a moral compass. According to your moral compass, do you think he's evil? Right? I would say mass genocide is on the negative end of the spectrum. That's if like it's certainly wait, what? I know this is a silly question, but what's Hitler's star sign? Does anybody know what Hitler's star sign is? When is Hitler born? When was Hitler born? Don't know why that just hit my April 20th. Star signs. I don't know how the star signs work. Star signs calendar. Okay, April. Aries. Oh, Hitler is no, he's not an Aries. He's a Taurus. He's a Taurus. April 20th to May 20th. Do we have any Tauruses in the chat today? Site chat, gutter chat. Do we have any Tauruses? April 20th to May 20th in the chat today. If you're a Taurus, can you put a 1 in chat so we can have mods monitor you quick? Buffalo Johnson. Okay, there's a Taurus. Pasta 21. There's another Taurus. Nathan the God Taurus. Oh, look at all the Taurus and gutter. Okay. Mods, keep a close eye on those ones. Okay. I want all the mods going through their old chat logs, making sure they're allowed to be in here. Where were we?
Want me to just say this so bad? You need me to say the same thing as you so bad. What is your criteria of evil?
Profoundly immoral, and wicked.
Yeah, I think he did. He did commit some wicked behavior, of course.
So is he evil?
He committed some wicked behavior, dude. Oh my gosh, man. And you know how Nick Fuentes, who's like Sneako's friend, you know how he'll quote it? Oh man, you know what Sneako said on stream the other day? He said Hitler committed some wicked behavior. That's how he's gonna quote it, man. He's a slithery snake, man. He knows that Sneako's very careful with his words.
I don't want to say the same thing that you're saying, man. I don't want to go and I'm not going to partake in this group thing. I'm not going to go in
group thing. Dude, I'm sorry. Okay. So this has gone on long enough that I could try to say what's going on here. So again, I've already said what I believe about Sneako when it comes to the contrarianism. I don't like to assume people's motivations, but this happens so often with Sneako that at some point you have to like take away like the charitability, and you need to start thinking, why is this a pattern? And there is a pattern of Sneako seemingly going out there just taking the contrarian position to take the contrarian position because it's against what the quote-unquote establishment believes. The establishment believes this about 9/11, so oh, it's the other thing. The establishment believes this about Nick Fuentes, so oh, it's the other thing. Same thing with Andrew Tate, and now it's the same thing. It seems to be, at least to some degree, he's questioning that narrative about Hitler. And this isn't the first time he's done it. He's done it a few times since he's had these interactions with Nick Fuentes, who was a known Holocaust denier and white nationalist. And so it's not that surprising that he's, putting a lot of question marks about exactly how evil Hitler is, and he's asking for sources here, even though he knows very well what the Holocaust was. He knows very well that the Holocaust happened. I can't believe I have to say this, but I don't want to assume that with Sneako, considering who he's hanging out with, but he should know very well that the Holocaust happened. So I feel like I have to assume some malintent here, some intent for some attention grabbing behavior, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is the idea of the perspective of a person. When somebody declares something evil, you can understand that somebody has a perspective and it's an evil perspective. Osama bin Laden, in my opinion, had an evil perspective, that going out and just killing civilians is perfectly moral if it could somehow achieve your wider religious fanatic goals, right? You can analyze somebody's perspective and still come to the conclusion that they are still an evil person or engaged in evil deeds. Literally every single evil, psychotic, rapist, murderer, pedophile, disgusting person in the world has a perspective, right? But those perspectives can still be evil. And so you can acknowledge that Hitler has a perspective. You can acknowledge his racist perspective. In fact, people have read Mein Kampf. It's not a very fantastic book to try to understand Hitler's perspective. People have spent their whole lives trying to study the records of Hitler's assistants and the people close to him to understand his psychology. People have studied Hitler's perspective for a very long time.
A tier 1 subscription. Is was only a YouTube Frank. Mine dudes.
So thank you, Flemmy, for the gifted tier 1 to Drewdasm. In fact, I sorry, I just want to get back on track. In fact, there's a lot of fascination with Hitler's perspective in popular media. And I mean, like, you can look at like Man in the High Castle and other forms of media that talk about what would have Hitler's goals been if he had won the war, what motivated Hitler, people going into the psychology of the evil man. There was a lot of fascination about that after World War II, and even in modern popular media. So this question that Sneako's asking about, which he thinks is like this kind of revolutionary question, which he is throwing off the shackles of modern society that asks him to not ask offensive questions. And that's why he's saying, oh, we need to understand Hitler's perspective, when he's not asking a question that's particularly that revolutionary at all, or particularly all that new. People have been studying Hitler's perspective ever since the end of the Second World War. In fact, before the end of the Second World War, and actually, to be frank, this just hit me. Armchair History. I don't know if you guys know Armchair History. He's a YouTuber. He does history. Armchair Historian. He just released, I think, like a 2-hour documentary on the German perspective on the Second World War. I mean, the idea that this question isn't asked or isn't talked about, I feel like that's part of the reason he's doing this, because he wants to be the one that asks the dangerous questions of what motivated the man. It isn't that particularly new. It isn't a new question. Tons of people have asked this question before, but most of those people, in fact, all of those people, if they're honest and are not like Irving or some other fraud historian that is going in there with the purpose of trying to excuse Hitler or excuse away the SS leadership, the Nazi leadership. Those historians who have studied Hitler's perspective almost always come to the same conclusion, if they're being honest, that yes, Hitler was a deeply, deeply, deeply evil man. So again, not a revolutionary question. And the people who have asked these questions still come to the conclusion that he's an evil man.
You know what's funny? No, you know what's funny? I said, is Hitler evil? You said, I don't know. I didn't know the guy. And then I said, I read the definition, and you said, yeah, he was wicked. So you basically, is he evil?
I would say, I don't want to partake in this, like, you need to say exactly what I believe thing. Because
now it just feels like he's cornered. He's like an injured puppy, and he doesn't know what to do. And so he's just like rolling over and playing dead now. Aiden, by some miracle, because I mean, Aiden Ross is not that particularly politically knowledgeable, if I'm going to put it lightly. It's a miracle Aiden Ross was actually able to corner Sneako, but he was able to do it. Congratulations. And now Sneako's just playing dead. He's acting like a possum.
This is how you avoid yourself from having actual conversations and dialogue.
Listen, I don't care. I said, was Hitler evil? You said, I didn't know the guy. I read the definition of evil. You said, yes, he was wicked. Is Hitler evil?
I'm not going to partake in this group thing.
The group thing. That's exactly what it is, man. It's just the people think this, so I have to think the other thing. It's the anti-Hitler group think, man. Everybody in the world, in schools, they're telling you Hitler's bad, in media telling you Hitler's bad. He asked the real questions, the Sneako guy.
Yeah, Sneako. Oh my God.
And he left. Smart move. That's the smartest thing Aiden Ross has ever done. Leaving that call. My goodness, man. It's just, I think a lot of people, and I say this as a streamer, right? And this is a risky thing to say as a streamer. I feel like a lot of people put weight in people's personalities when trying to come away from with political analysis. And what I mean by that is, if you're streaming and you're a streamer, your personality in the vast majority of cases comes across. And if you connect with somebody personally, you're going to be a lot more sympathetic to their arguments. And I feel like it's just Sneako being a goofball that has gotten him anywhere. It's just his personality alone. I don't think there's any political intelligence to this person whatsoever. It's that he's funny. He says silly thing every once in a while. He's energetic. And, you know, he brings arguments, as in he brings a argument into every conversation because he's a contrarian, not that he actually brings coherent arguments. And so that's what he offers, and that's how he's been able to garner an audience. But but still, his personality alone has been able to win over some people. If that wasn't the case, there would be nobody in his audience, would there? My goodness. It's the Holocaust Memorial Day today? Wow. I guess I picked the perfect day to cover this topic.